As Wednesday's general election nears, Zimbabwean citizens are expressing their views and tell VOA what issues are important to them.
My word of advice to whoever is going to be the president of Zimbabwe, they have to address joblessness here in Zimbabwe. Hyperinflation, things are getting out of hand, we are not affording. We want a decent economy where things are not looted, the resources of the nation are not looted, where everyone is respected, where there are no human rights abuses.
Us as the youth, we need jobs. All of us are vendors in this country. There's no improvement, there's no food. We're going to school, university, there's no change. We're all by the streets. Everyone.
We want free and fair elections. We want the free and fair in the judiciary.
I want to be there for people and to help them with the jobs and everything, and to change our situation.
That was Zimbabwean citizens there talking about what issues are important to them. VOA's Paul Ndiho spoke to Ricky Mukonza, a Zimbabwean analyst and professor at Tshwane University of Technology in South Africa, about the second general election since the removal of former longtime leader Robert Mugabe.
It has been busy on the ground for political parties that are gunning for support from the voters in Zimbabwe. But in my analysis, the main contest is between the ruling party, ZANU-PF, and the main opposition, which is Citizens Coalition for Change, otherwise known as CCC. There are also other political parties, but I don't see them really, making, a serious challenge to the two that I've mentioned. In terms of campaigning, yes, we have seen these two, doing their rallies. And they've been able to attract significant numbers.
There's been a lot of complaints, especially from the opposition, that in some cases they're restricted in places where to campaign, how to go about their campaign. Last week they arrested a whole bunch of opposition leaders. What's your take on that?
It's really regrettable that the police and in some cases the courts are being used as instruments for repression, because what they are doing, particularly what the police is doing in arbitrarily arresting, opposition supporters, is a recipe for elections that could be contested. The opposition parties could, raise those issues to challenge the freeness and the fairness.
What would you say is the single most important issue that these candidates are campaigning on this time around?
The economy hasn't been performing well. It's before everyone to see. Yes, ZANU-PF may argue that they've tried their best to deal with issues of infrastructure, to deal with issues of currency volatility, but overall, the economy hasn't been performing well. And we know when the economy is not performing well, there are a number of attendant problems that come with that. For example, unemployment figures continue to be very high and unsustainable. The young people who are coming from universities and other institutions of higher learning do not have anywhere to go in terms of being absorbed within the economy.
Joseph Stalin used to say that it doesn't matter how many people show up to vote, but what matters is the person who counts the vote. And in this particular context, it couldn't be more true for your scenario in Zimbabwe. You have Emmerson Mnangagwa, who is the incumbent president, who is also in charge of appointing the people who are going to count the vote. Would that in any way play in his favor?
You are very correct in your observation. The fact that Emmerson Mnangagwa has a certain level of leverage and control over who runs the election puts him at an advantage. And I have no doubt that the statement that you have mentioned, where he who counts, I think has a very huge say on the outcome of the elections.
That was Ricky Mukonza, a Zimbabwean analyst and professor at Tshwane University of Technology, speaking to VOA's Ndiho.